everyone, it's Bridget. I'm excited to share this part 2 of working with ancestors, and I will share a bit about my process of this art piece at the end, so you can definitely see it's different from the first one that I've done. So jumping into it, after you've done your genealogy research and honored your ancestors, now it's time to finally start working with them. And it's like any kind of relationship, you need to get to know them first before you even ask for favors, right? Ancestor work is similar to that, and you want to meet them with respect. It shows that you're really dedicated to their time and energy as well as they are to you. You can even start with talking about your day, where you're going, what's going to happen at school or work, what you're hoping will happen. I've noticed the more details I share with them, the more helpful they can be, especially when those funny coincidences show up time and time again. Now, this is something small, but I've told them the plan of the day, and if I go somewhere that's packed for parking, I'm usually lucky enough to find a parking spot right as I arrive when that person leaves. The more you speak to them, I bet you'll notice your ancestors in your space who you've never even met before, and that's great, and that's what happened to me too. And if you're not there yet, that's totally fine. We all go at our own pace. It is not a race. It shows that they're here to guide, heal, and protect us to where we need to go. Not always where we want to go. Sometimes the need and the want do combine with each other, which is great, and other times they steer us to a different direction that is not what we expected, but it turns out for the better. For me personally, they always come up in tarot readings when I'm connecting with them as certain cards, which signifies who this message is from. And I've also researched their job histories, and now different tarot cards have various meanings and confirmations when they do come through in a reading. So that is another way to connect with them and to sit and figure out who is here in your space. And you can also use your clairsenses during this time when you're meditating and figuring out who is who. But I want to share that all of this is my experience and yours might differ, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And just a reminder from my first video on this, they do not have to be biological ancestors. You can consider the ancestors of the elders, elements, those who were long here before us, and so on. So how do you know it's from them? Do you get a warm, fuzzy feeling or something else entirely? Sit with that feeling that's coming through, journal about it for a bit, and come back to that journal entry when someone comes through again and compare notes. You can talk to them whether it's in your head or out loud. It's perfectly fine. Side note, I've noticed that when I talk to my plants, I talk to them out loud, but to spirits, it's always in my head. And I've noticed everyone's practice is different, and that's what's beautiful about it. And we really need to be here to help guide and support and uplift each other, and just to really confirm that everyone is on their own path, and that's okay. So getting back to my main point, for instance, I've asked for a sign to see if I was connecting with my ancestors to give me things in red. I often see cardinals in rare areas that don't have them. Another time I saw someone pass by with a shirt that said Chow on it. The color was in red, and she said she wasn't sure why, but she felt the need to wear it today. That was one of the beginnings of my Italian ancestors reaching out to me. Your signs can be subtle or completely out of the blue. It all depends on your perspective and how specific your requests are to them. They can work with, can you give me a sign? Sure. But how will you specifically know it's from them if you haven't given them a specific detail about what to look for? Honesty and communication is important when working with ancestors or anyone on your spiritual team and path. If you can't learn to trust each other, how will you expect to grow and expand? Granted, these aren't exclusive, and you do not have to work with ancestors to grow and expand your abilities, but if you want them involved in your spell work, just know it is a two-way street. Speaking of, boundaries are super important and good to figure out how to communicate. when to give each other space, and what both of you feel comfortable working on. Personally, I like to ask if they feel comfortable helping me with a spell work or not. You can also ask that out loud for a specific sign, or you can make your own pendulum, which is just something that swings back and forth for yes or no. It can also even be a consecrated necklace for this very purpose. You can also use tarot and oracle cards if you're just beginning. Maybe oracle decks with easy yes or no symbolism in the cards might be good for you. Even dice, if you have them somewhere, maybe odds are yes and even numbers are no. There are many more ways to use divination tools to communicate, but I strongly recommend using your abilities, figuring out what those are during this process, and again, take notes so that you can reflect back on that. Boundaries are a great starting point to learn about each other, and it's also encouraged for you to place your own boundaries too, but make sure that you're being respectful while sharing them. And just a reminder, they do not have to connect with us. Our ancestors are here by our sides because it's their choice, so it's good to be polite and ask them for their boundaries too. I feel like boundaries on the spiritual side isn't talked about enough, not just on our end, but how the other spiritual beings feel too. So that's just something to keep in mind. And the more you work with them, the more you'll be able to tell who is in your space while using specific abilities. For me, I can clearly hear them when they come to warn me about something, whether it's going to happen in my personal or work life. And as a way to thank them for their time and energy, offerings are a great way to build on that connection. You do not even have to have the money or the space. That is totally okay. Just let them know that you're grateful for your guidance. You can also even offer your time, meditation, and acts of service as an offering. Even bringing back the research we did, you can see what they liked or what they did for jobs or hobbies, or learn a new skill related to that as an offering to them. The list is really endless, and it doesn't have to be something expensive if you don't have the means for that, which again is totally okay. In my experience, I've learned that they can tell what offerings are from the heart and will accept those the most, no matter how big or small that gesture is that you think it may be. The more you work with them, the more comfortable you'll get, and you'll even notice them sharing information and suggestions they did with certain family traditions that may have been lost over time. The more you use protection and connect with them, the easier it'll be. And as promised, here's a bit about my art piece. You'll notice I worked on neurographic art for this, which are just making fun squiggly lines, and you'll even see some shapes that I added into this. The lesson here I learned is no matter how simple the shapes that keep coming up for you is, just acknowledge and accept it, because it really does show that what you're doing is working. And for neurographic art, you'll see anytime a line connects with each other, you just round it out, which calms the overthinking and chaotic mind into a repetitive and relaxing gesture. I noticed that leaving the empty lines of the squares in between was just a bit boring. So I wanted to add gold in the middle just to make it pop more. And just to note, green, gold, and yellow were colors that kept coming up for me for this meditation, and another confirmation related to my ancestry. Green is also about growth and grounding, so keep in mind about the colors that come up during your art meditation and look them up afterwards. You'd be surprised with what resonates. I still felt the need to add something more to this piece, and I brought out my regular black colored pencil to help shade the hearts, which includes shapes inside them as well, so they could pop out even more. And just a tip, when I'm using my art meditation supplies, I try to keep them easy and fun with what I already have. So my go-tos might be different from yours, and that's fine. I usually like to use acrylic paint markers, alcohol markers, and gel pens. Try to use what you already have when connecting with your ancestors, and you'll be surprised with what comes up for you. And let me know if this interests you, but I'm thinking about doing a guided art meditation for a future video. So let me know if there's like a specific theme that you want me to focus on, or to just help guide you through this meditation I'm more than happy to share that process from beginning to end with you guys as well. Let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can make that happen. And just so you guys know, neither of these pieces took me one day to finish. I took a break, came back to it, took a break, came back to it, and I also let them know, hey, I'm going to take a break, but I'll be back. That's totally fine. That works for them. As long as you communicate with them, they're more than happy to know that. And I saved the best for last for you guys, which is the peeling off the tape. At least it's my favorite part. Let me know if it's your favorite part too, and we can geek out together. Keep connecting with your ancestors, reclaim both theirs and your stories, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!